Good morning, it's Tuesday the 28th of February. This is the Phoenix Blue Update brought to you this morning by Tom Colley. Yesterday was a predominantly quiet day, as we suggested. There was no major news. We had a speech from one of the FOMC members, but that didn't have any significant effect on the markets. The biggest markets affecting item was political, was the potential second Scottish independence referendum, which has been talked about. It looks like the Scottish Nationalist Party, the SNP, will demand a second referendum following the activation of Article 50, on the basis that most people now assume that it will be impossible for the UK to remain part of the single market as it negotiates, or in its new negotiated trading position with the EU. It does require the UK government to call that referendum. The Scottish Parliament, led by the Scottish Nationalists, can only demand it. It can't actually make it happen. So that's going to be an ongoing picture on the Brexit side. Uncertainty in that market, and probably one worth staying away in the short term. Okay, over on the news for today, well, a bit more news than we had yesterday. We've got preliminary gross domestic product from the States out this afternoon, and consumer confidence. Those are two things that are going to potentially have an influence on the market. I think today they could be overshadowed by President Trump's speech tonight. Before that, this evening, we have gross domestic products on the Aussie and Caketing manufacturing PMI, which is always an interesting one to watch. We're seeing better numbers on this. A year ago, we were seeing numbers around 50, and with the lower end of the 50. We'd got a previous of 51. We're still looking for a similar sort of number, bearing in mind growth is considered at anything above 50. So something to watch for, and could have some influence on commodity currencies, particularly the Aussie. Now tonight we have 2 AM UK time, or in the morning, 2 AM UK time, with President Trump addressing the joint houses of Congress. This is going to be a major event. Will he tell us what's going to happen in terms of taxation, infrastructure? Will it be all about Medicare? These are unknown factors, but certainly whatever he says has pretty great significance to the markets, or potentially. The interesting thing about this event is it will happen at 2 AM UK time. That's 9 AM Eastern time, which means the American markets will effectively be closed. Obviously, in the FX markets, they trade 24 hours, so we will see immediate reaction to this. But potentially we won't see the big American institution reactions until the following afternoon. So clearly something to be very cautious about. I would suggest that if you do have any orders on the majors and minors, that potentially you suspend those through that period. Personally, I'll be treating the period somewhat like I would treat non-farm payroll. That may be overcautious, but the reality is we really don't know. Trump is capable of saying anything. He's capable of going off script, which potentially, from my perspective, means he's very capable of maybe dropping a mistake in there that the market might react to. Over to the charts. Well, the dollar index, we had a bearish day, which then recovered through the afternoon, and we really basically ended up where we started. Over on the yen, we had a bullish day yesterday. Overnight, we've had a bit more of a bearish session. I've got a couple of levels here, minor levels, that I'm potentially looking for intraday today. But I said basically this market particularly, I'm not looking for anything until we get some more clarification. Over on the euro, we had a significant attempted breakout to the long side on that dollar pullback yesterday. Price came back down, effectively still within that trend line, although in terms of time we've now moved out of that. But again, we've got nothing clear here, and until we see that level there broken, I don't, or Conversely, the lower level broken, I can't see we've got any direction there that we'd want to trade. Interestingly, probably the currency or the major or minor with the most significant move yesterday was the Canadian dollar. We've seen Canadian dollar weakness yesterday. It's not reflected the move in the dollars. We've got the on Wednesday, tomorrow, we've got the Bank of Canada. I think I called that the Bank of Japan yesterday, but obviously for the Canadian interest rates, it's their rate day. So although we don't anticipate a rate change tomorrow, we will obviously be looking to see what's actually said in the statement and how we can interpret that on a hawkish or dovish basis. Clearly there's a level here that any break and retest of that level will be significant for us, and we're in a box range or a trap range, whichever one you want to call it. Still have an order in place down on the big number 1.3 there. We've got a cut extreme long signal there, which is why I'm still sitting with that trade, although I do believe that we've broken this trend line, retested in confluence with this trend line, as you can clearly see there. So I am looking for the Canadian dollar to continue weakening to the long side here, so I will be looking for a trade here, opportunity through here later in the week at about 1.32. One trade that we got into yesterday evening, overnight, was silver. Silver is at a level about 1850, a significant level. We've got a cut extreme short signal at that point, which gives us confidence that this market will, or the probability of this market coming to the short side is higher. We got a nice opportunity on a 1 hour chart to get in on a retest of a double top. Although at this moment in time we're in at reduced risk because of what's in the market and the uncertainty and volatility at this moment in time, do see some potential to add into this trade, because there is potentially a shoulder there, with that being ahead, and clear zones through there which would give us support and resistance to give us a head and shoulders formation, which would see us targeting down to about the 1730 at this moment in time. On this trade, we're only targeting, it's an intraday trade, we're targeting this level about 1812, 1820 through there, which would effectively be the sorry, I'm wrong about that, we're targeting about 1750, which would effectively be the neckline of any potential head and shoulders. So we have T1 target at that 1812 zone, and then T2 there, simply because we will expect price to come back to that level if that head and shoulders is to play out. We'll keep you up to date on that one. Okay guys, that's it for today. Reminder that the next free trading event is Wednesday the 15th of March. There's a link appearing in a moment which will allow you to click through to the website to contact us about that. We've also on the March the 11th got an all-day event in Sweden. If that's applicable to you, same thing, click through to the website. There'll also be a logo coming up which allows you to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get a heads up or an email every morning the moment these videos have been uploaded to YouTube itself. Okay guys, have a great day's trading. Remember to be cautious about that Trump speech, and we'll come speak to you in the morning when obviously we'll have a conversation about what exactly Trump has said and what influence that might have on the markets. Thank you and goodbye.